Why would you get into a relationship without knowing what you want or where the relationship is going? Because sometimes I really wonder if the issue is the relationship, if the issue is the person we are getting into the relationship with, or just basically us. So let us have a conversation so that we can clear that thing out once and for all. Because what I need for us to do is for us to have relationships that will, at the end of the day, be very intentional. Welcome to Love and Truth. My name is Marian Ndung'u, and see you in the video. Karibuni guys, we're going to talk about dating with intentionality, and the main reason I'm saying it that way is because a lot of us are really doing it for the wrong reasons. I know I have had a conversation with you guys before on this channel on how people are getting into the relationship without the wrong reasons. By the way, forgive me for my background noise. My son, he's playing, so he's keeping himself busy, and because he's riding cars, he has to make his noise, and that's allowed, right? Okay, that's done. So I have done a couple of videos on how people are really and the reasons why we get into the wrong relationship. So I'm not gonna go in there, but I'm just gonna remind us of a few. Some of you are trying to get back at your exes. You haven't healed, of course, and then probably what was lacking in your previous relationship is what you're looking to cover. So while you're trying to cover probably what has was missing in the previous relationship, you forget that, by the way, there are some boxes that the new person is not ticking just because he's ticking what was missing in the previous relationship. And at the end of the day, of course, that will be a wrong relationship because there are some things that are non-negotiable for you that you will find yourself in with that particular new relationship. So there are so many reasons why you and me have gotten ourselves in the wrong relationships. And today I just want to ask you a question. I know that you're watching me today. Probably you have been there where you have gotten yourself in a relationship for all the wrong reasons. If you don't mind sharing, kindly share with us so that we can know, because I can't touch all I can't tick all the boxes because there's some reasons that people actually get into that we don't necessarily touch about, and you can be the reason why we will know about them and probably discover and be like, oh, okay, so that is even a reason. So please, for some of us that do a lot of rebound, because I know a lot of us have been victims of that, let us also be very intentional when we're getting into a relationship. The main reason we end up being heartbroken, which we have also talked about in another video in this channel, so go and check out that as well, is because we are getting into the relationships even not just for the wrong reasons, but also in the wrong timing. You are not really in a space where you can handle a relationship. I have talked about this a lot of times, where you find that you're so busy with probably work, you're engaged, the relationship is going to be very difficult for you, probably in the period of time that you're traveling a lot. So of course the relationship will be destabilized because you do not have enough time to prioritize this person at the time. So we also need to check our timings, because there are times that dating probably doesn't make sense at that particular time. Anyway, so why are we going to talk about dating with intentionality? The main reason that it is important for you to date with intentionality is, number one, you will avoid from the onset dating wrong people or dating for the wrong reasons, right? Because you know why you want to get in a relationship. You know that at the end of the day, I'm getting into this relationship because I want something long lasting, and because I do not want to put myself through we try and then if it doesn't work, it's okay. You're very intentional with, if you find people that are not for what you are going for, you will forget them from the onset. So that will reduce the aspect of you getting heartbroken and also you getting into the wrong relationship with the wrong person, right? So when you are intentional, it actually helps with analyzing and just cutting people off from the fact that they are not the right people for you. Now, intentionality makes it so easy for you to know, this is what I want, this is how I want it, and I have a time frame of actually doing this thing. I remember when I was single, I honestly did not feel the need of getting into a serious relationship because I knew at the end of the day I want to get married, but I wasn't ready in my early teens, in my early 20s to get into a serious relationship. So as much as I was saying no to people, the main reason I was doing that was also because I did not want to go through a lot of heartbreaks. I went through a heartbreak after 4 years, and I went through another heartbreak, I think, after 1 year. No, after 4 years, then I had another relationship that was on and off. I have talked about it on my live, and it was there for 3 years. So we were not really in a relationship. It was very confused. And for 3 years, that person was present. But then again, I think I just was dating. If I dated any other person or tolerated another person in that period, I knew that I was not ready to settle down because I had some things I needed to put in place for me and also to discover myself. And I felt like emotionally I wasn't ready for a serious relationship. And I know that there are some of you that probably might be there, but the challenge that you have is convincing other people around you that this is not the time I need to get into a relationship because I am not in that space. And it can be very draining because as a single person, everyone is just trying to impose their timings and their pressure on you. And of course, even family will be there telling you it's time for you to settle down because you know what, time is of the essence. You're getting old. You need to have a baby by now. You need to have kids by I don't know what time, and all those things that, of course, add into the pressure. And this is the honest truth. The pressure is there because I also felt it as a single person. But the thing is, marriage is not the reward, guys. Don't look at it from that aspect of if I settle down, I have won the jackpot, I have gotten myself stabilized. That is not the truth, because if you look at it that way, then you're gonna miss out. Because at the end of the day, when you get and you cross into marriage thinking that marriage is a reward, you are going to experience a lot of heartaches and pain, because of course this person is not 100% perfect. They have their weaknesses and you have your own as well. So there will be a lot of clashing before you guys even come to a place of agreement. We have talked about becoming one. So there are things that will actually happen for you to help you just barter so that you can start to think alike or respect each other's boundaries and all these other things. And of course, if you consider marriage as a reward and you think that just because now I'm married, I'm okay, then you will miss out on even the working towards having a perfect marriage and a beautiful home, and it's gonna be very hard and hectic for you. So what is dating with intentionality? We have said is you knowing I am not in the space probably, so make sure that the timing is perfect for you, right? Secondly, know the end goal of this particular relationship. Why am I even getting into the relationship in the first place? I know there are some of us that do not believe in marriage, so you are the type that thinks that I can actually date and then we don't have to get serious, and if a baby comes, I am stable enough. You know, there are women who are like, I'm stable enough, I can handle the baby on my own. But then of course, as much as that is okay because it is a personal preference, it can be a challenge for the children that you're bringing up, because they will want a father figure in their lives. And if you're not serious and probably you keep on changing men every other now and then, probably it can actually confuse the child and introduce other things that are not necessary for this child, because you just decided that that is not what you want. So if you're deciding that you're working on celibacy, probably stay with it, stick with it until your later years. I was listening to some YouTube channel, I don't know what his name is. He's an American that actually asks old people some of the things that they probably have regretted and the likes. And I remember one old lady was there saying that she was very okay with not having children, and she doesn't have children. She was 90 when the interview was being done, and she said that as much as that was her decision and she stuck with it, and that is the reason why she did not get married. Now that she's older, she feels alone, because now a lot of her friends, the people that she used to hang out with and everything, now they're 90, probably they're the same age mates with him, and probably hata kama if there are family members, they are busy with their own things. So the people who would be there probably to take care of her, to just make her house and her life warm, would be probably her family, her children, and every other, and the people that she probably had the home that she would have raised. But because she did not do that, now she's lonely, and she feels like if it can be a mistake. She feels like now she says that she would have had kids even if she wouldn't have gotten married. But that is not something that I feel like we should settle for. Like you decide, no, me, I just want kids, I don't want marriage, I don't want the full package. Because of course the marriage, as I've said, nowadays it's going through its own evolution and a lot of things are changing. But at the end of the day, be very intentional with what you want. So of course, make sure that you're in the right space mentally and emotionally. Are you okay to handle other people being in your space? And just open yourself up and grow your capacity so that you can handle people that are coming your way. Secondly, in terms of just being intentionally dating, is make sure you know your end plan, your goal. Of course, sometimes even when you have your goal, the other person has their own as well, and they can influence yours. So if you decided that I just wanted to date for 2 years and probably get married at 25, but I am intentionally dating while I am heading towards 25 so that I can know this person for a while longer, that's okay. But there are people who actually have that, and then you find the person that you will find now will cause you to even settle earlier than the years that you have set for yourself, or later than the set goal. But at the end of the day, at least they have a goal of settling, so which is important, because both of you will sit down and analyze and be like, okay, let us not rush this. Well, you want to get married or to marry at 25, I feel like we can actually wait a bit longer until we're 28 so that we can work on 1, 2, 3 things, and that is fine for the two of you as long as you agree. So having at least the desired end makes it easy for you to communicate and just make it open and be like, this is what I want, these are my preferences. So when this other person is dating you, they know that this person at the end of the day want to get married. I remember when I was getting into a relationship with my husband now, who was my friend and boyfriend then, I was very intentional. As much as I did not take a lot of time to heal, I had come from a relationship and we broke it off around December, and the relationship was long distance. So I felt like I had come from a 1 year relationship, though it was long distance, and I felt like it wasn't very serious because of course of the fact that the person was away. When I ended that relationship after a year, I became very intentional. So I was not very quick to rush into another relationship, but I was open because I felt it was time. I was around 27 thereabout. I'm like, you know what? I need to make sure that even while I am getting into a relationship that I'm now going to get into after I have broken off with that particular person, I need to now let the other person know that I am ready for marriage. I am ready to settle down. I wouldn't want to date for a long period of time because I don't see the need. If we are all open and we are all honest and we are like, this is what I have to offer, this is my mistakes, and this is what I have learned so far. Courting and dating is more or less just getting to know the person. But if you can be an open book and cut the time of knowing each other, that can be perfect, because that is what I preferred. I was like, you know what, I don't need to date someone for 5 years for me to get to know them. Just tell me about yourself, and then I will discover a few things, of course, from the way I am observing you, the way you're doing things, the way you're sending yourself, your way of communicating, and how you're interacting with your friends here and there. I will get to understand you. I am talking in a hurry because I don't want this video to be long. And that is what I did. So when I met him and we had a conversation, and he asked me, are you single? I said, yes, I'm single. I'm from a relationship that I broke off in December. And I feel like right now I am ready for something serious, because I don't want to stay in the dating scene for long. I don't believe in dating for long periods of time so that I can get to know a person. And I was very open about it. And he was also in the same mindset as me. So we didn't date for that long. I'm telling you, from the minute we met to the minute we were getting married, we had like probably 6 to 7. Was it a short period of time? Probably. But then I felt there's no need of me taking so much time, because of course, in terms of the weaknesses, I knew, I could see, also from the way he was conversing. I don't know if it's because I had a background in psychology, so it was easy to see through the facade, but I actually knew what I was getting myself into. But the good thing about just being open and being bare and saying what you want is, it was so easy for us to agree on like, let's do this, because both of us want the same thing and we are more alike than we are different. I feel like you and me combining, we can actually work. And of course, yeah, the other things that entail to just people coming together. So you being intentional is very important because it actually cuts the waste of time, because you're like, you know what, I know what I want and this is what I want, and if it's not what I want, then bye, go away, you know. And I remember in that period I had like 3 people propose at the same time. Others I had not really dated, but this particular, my husband now, is the one I had given a lot of time. But I remember when before he asked me to marry him, another guy also who was somewhat in my life on and off came, took me out, and he was telling me, and all of them proposed to me the same way. None of them had a ring. They were just like, you know what, Marion, I want you to be my wife. And the other person, I said, no, I can't do that, because I had seen his lifestyle. As much as he was doing well financially, he was driving, he had his own place, he had a 1 bedroom, he seemed stable, but in apart from the stability, there was a lot behind the scenes that wasn't making sense, that made me say no, because I knew what I wanted versus what I saw, and I was like, that is not it. So I picked my husband because apart from the fact that he wasn't packaged the way I wanted, there was a lot of things that ticked the box that made sense. He had this sense of family, and he looked like the type that would go and just fight heaven and earth to make sure that you guys are well taken care of and provided for. Does he have his weaknesses? Of course, you can see the weaknesses and you're like, this is something that we need to watch out for. Even when we get into marriage, these are some of the things that I might expect to happen because I have already studied him, and these are the things that I feel like I can actually experience in the relationship. So of course, even when you're intentional, it is so easy for you to be like, okay, now I have looked at you and I have seen your weaknesses. Am I willing to stand all this for the rest of my life? Because I need to be sure I have the capacity and the mental stability to understand and to stay with this person for this long with this particular character. And of course, even when you analyze each other and you take a step back and be like, okay, wait a minute, I also have my weaknesses. As much as I am looking at his, I'm also having my own, which I need to work on. So at the end of the day, is he also willing to handle me? Can he handle the package that I come in? Because I can be a bit stubborn, I can be a bit 1, 2, 3 things, and you actually analyze all those things while you're making your decisions. That is the importance of intentionality. It actually helps you to cut through the cracks and to also see people for who they are, and you also allow them to see you for who you are, and then at that time you decide and you're like, okay, this is a decision that I'm making. I am going to date you. I am going to see where this is going. And I know that a lot of us probably are serious, and we have had a series of different people, because at the end of the day, you feel like you're ready, and the people that are coming look ready until now you get into a relationship with them, and then you're like, oh my goodness, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I ordered for, and I'm not going to settle. And it's okay. I know of people that have dated in a series of a year, have dated 4 people, and then they're very serious and very intentional, like, I want to get married, and they have been very serious. You know, have you ever had someone's report? You're there thinking, you have dated a lot of people to a point that you guys are even wearing matching outfits because you feel like there's something going on, and then in the next few minutes you feel like the relationship, you just hear that the relationship ended and she's with another person, and that other person again, the relationship has ended, now she's in another one, and you just wonder, is the person the issue? But then intentional people will have to experience some of those things, because when they get into a relationship with a person who is not real, because then they are invested 100% from the onset. Like, I am dating you knowing that I'm dating you for marriage. I'm not dating you for jokes. I'm dating you because I want us to settle down. And when they get into the relationship, they feel like, 1 or 2 things are not adding up, so they withdraw. And it's okay. So don't judge people, even when you see them going through a series of different people, dating and dumping them. They might actually be very intentional and very serious. And there you are thinking that they are joking, they're not serious, they don't know what they want. No, they know what they want. And that is why they are not settling for less, and they're not settling for the people that they have been dating. So it's very okay and it's allowed. And I actually say it. Date and explore as many people. And exploring does not mean sexually. It means you sitting down with a person, reasoning intellectually, having a one-on-one conversation, doing the dates, the coffees, so that you can know if this person is the right one or not. I know companies every other time when they're looking for an employee, they have one position, but they will open up the vacancy to a lot of people, and they allow as many people to come and just vie for the position, and they will do interviews. And dating is more or less similar. You have a position. The position that I have is for you to be my husband, so it is open, but I am dating, so I'm doing interviews. I am opening it up to as many people as can have access to me, not opening my life in terms of being sexual with all of them, not opening myself in terms of exposing everything, because when you're going for an interview, you are given a bit of information, but you're not given all the information concerning the company, right? You will be told that probably your salary will be in a certain bracket. Of course, that can be you dating, saying that at the end of the day you can be my husband. It is guaranteed. You are given sneak peeks or a bit of information of what could be the end result. You will get probably some forms of some form of what is this, packages and all these things, and benefits that come with the job, but they won't tell you all the things. They will tell you the roles, and they'll tell you, no, this is the executive position, so we will need someone who is with some particular years of experience, because we don't want someone who is coming to start to learn things on the job. We want someone who is very proficient with English or whatever language that is, and then they will tell you an additional French or Spanish language can be an added advantage, because of course they interact with such places, or they would want in the future to branch out to those places. So when you're dating, you're also in that space. When you're looking for a husband or a wife, you're in that space where you're opening yourself up to be like, you know what, I am the wife. When you date me, I am the prize. So this is the position that you're coming to fill. You're going to be my husband. If you're a man, you're going to be my wife, And the position is full-time, because of course it is until death do us part. I'm not willing to divorce. Now, because this is the position, the roles that I want you to play is, I want you to be faithful. I want you to be loyal. I want you to be hardworking. I want you to be a mother to my children, or a father to my children. I want you to be a provider and all these things. I want you to be a helper. So those are the roles that you're coming to play. It is an interview, and then you open yourself up and be like, okay, bring the reviews. I am actually going out on dates, and I'm trying to understand what is going on. I was wondering, I remember there was a time I noticed one thing about men. When they're dating a particular lady, probably one who is very serious, they are serious with that particular one, who, according to you, the lady, you know that I am the girlfriend, but at the end of the day, he is talking to other people online. And I asked my husband some time back, why do you guys do that? Why can't you just deal with one person, do away with them, and be like, okay, this is not the person, do away with them, get another person, the same thing like that. If they're not the right one, then end the relationship, go to the other person. He told me that's not how men think, because men are like, okay, you're the girlfriend. As much as I am observing you and I'm analyzing you in terms of like, can you be a good partner in terms of everything that you're doing? I am also checking other people's. I'm actually interviewing, and I'm like, whoever is doing better than you is somewhere here being kept very close, because if this one fails, this one is the next one. And that's why you see, ladies, when men break up with you, you're in a relationship, tomorrow they are dating. They didn't start now. They were already talking to whoever they were talking to prior. I'm not encouraging cheating. I'm not encouraging dating a lot of people at the same time. I'm just saying dating sometimes does not have to look the way we make it look like. I can date you without emotionally being attached to you. I can date you without having a label. Okay, when the label now comes in, this is where we make the mistake. We put the labels before we date. we already call them wifey, we are already calling them hubby, we are calling them boyfriend, and already you don't even like their personality from the onset. What I would encourage is just leave the labels out first, know the person for a few. That's why it's very interesting and very awesome to just keep them as your friends first. You can actually be dating while you're knowing them as your friend without any labels. Then if they check the boxes, yeah, you advance them kidogo, so it's like you've done the first elimination. So now the many other people that you're dating, you've put them away, maybe you've remained with 2 or 3. Do not label them first. Keep on dating while you're analyzing. Then at the end of the day, whoever wins out of the probably the few people that will come, then now pick one person who now you can give the label of being your boyfriend, because they match, they fit, they can actually fit for that particular position of being your husband or your wife. And then now that one is the one you will ask, can you be my girlfriend? Then kidogo kidogo you propose and you get married and you have babies. So it's being very intentional. It can be a step and it can be as interesting as you make it. So avoid the labels, especially if you know you don't like someone. Don't tell them that you love them and you're very sure that it's not love, it's infatuation. So you need to be very intentional. That's why we're talking about from the onset, even before you start talking to them. Tell them, you know what, I'm looking for this particular person, and I don't want to give you titles right now. I just want us to get to know each other while I study you, while I look at some of the things that probably I'm checking out for. It is important. Before I finish, let me come closer and tell you this. Do not tell them what you're looking for at, at once. Don't tell them that you are looking for A, B, and C, and D. No. If you do that, they will pretend to have them. They will fake. So don't tell them. Just act like you just want to know them. But in the back of your mind, you're looking at some of those things, especially things that people can pretend concerning. Do not be so open to reveal and to expose and tell them this is what I'm looking for, because they can fake it. How many of you know that there are people who have faked things and gotten into relationship with people and even gotten married, and then in marriage they now show their true colors because I was just doing this because I like you and I wanted you, you know? So be very careful. I know this video has been very long, but that is the main conversation that we've been having about dating with intentionality. So if that is also something that you would want to do, kindly also comment on the comment section. Let us know if this video has been helpful to you and what probably else you would want us to touch on when it comes to dating. If you are already dating, right, because you've already given each other labels and you're there calling each other sweethearts and babies and whatever else that you call each other, then stick to that person, be faithful. Once the relationship works out, congratulations, let's move to marriage. But if it doesn't, once you get rid of that person, do better on the other relationship. Just go out without giving other people labels, because at the end of the day, you don't want to hurt the person. You don't want to give them hopes and all those things, telling them that you are one and only, and then at the end of the day you break their hearts by not marrying them because they are not what you thought they were. Okay, so I am done. I have talked a lot. I hope I have helped someone, and see you on the next one. My name is Marian Mikali, and this is Love and Truth. Bye bye.